Tormery, we're going to talk about this last subject right now, fam. So
Controversial.
you were gone, and I couldn't ask you because Tulsi leaked her single payer plus statement. Not so much the plan, but she talked about it.
Right.
And I really was like, wow, that is awesome. But then you saw some Democratic commentators like Mike Figueredo, Kyle, my boy Roadslav, who I do like Roadslav, the Slavic American, he goes by Roadslav, was really, really harsh and to Tulsi Gabbard for this. Now, I'm a little confused. Can you please shed some light? I mean, do other progressive bills like Bernie Sanders' bills and Jayapal's bills, who you say are the most progressive, do they have private insurance or public insurance?
They do, actually. But they do have for supplemental. So basically, Tulsi's come out with a name. She is, of course, we don't have the full plan, and I'm going to reserve full analysis once she releases her full plan. But she is calling her single payer plus is her plan. So first of all, just so you guys know, single payer is the actual name for the type of insurance that we all want. It's Medicare for all is supposed to fall under a single payer system. That's what the whole idea was with Jayapal's bill. Jayapal's bill differs from Bernie's bill in that Bernie is expanding Medicare, which leaves a lot up to the states, versus Jayapal was expanding Medicaid, which provides more of a national view. So that's the difference. Jayapal's is actually more directly single payer than Bernie's, but Bernie's is saying, I'm going to provide Medicare for all for every single person. And the only time that private insurance is going to have a role eventually, once that's 4 years are over, Jayapal's is 2 years, is supplemental insurance. So in case you have you want more visits to the doctor, you want to get cosmetic surgery, things that aren't covered, there's no copays, there's no deductibles according to Bernie's plan. Now, people have been talking about the gaps, that there are gaps in that you cannot force people to certain doctors to go through. And so what I'm going to break that down, because I think that needs to be broken down, but I want to have Tulsi's full plan to actually compare it to it. Bernie's bill, you're not supposed to, though, however, have private insurance outside of the supplemental coverage. Tulsi's single payer plus plan, so far that she has said, would be something that is still, she doesn't want to call it Medicare for all. She wants it to be her own thing, but it's still the same. It's still a single payer system. So people saying that she's not for Medicare for all are actually wrong, in the sense that by Medicare for all, they mean like a single payer system. Yeah. A lot of people don't know the terminology. This gets kind of wonky and complicated. Single payer means that every single American would be covered. Every single American would be covered. Everybody pays into it. This is the key difference. Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, and Elizabeth Warren is kind of, I don't even know what her plan is. It's just mess. It's calling Medicare for all, but it's not. But all of these people are saying a public option only. Medicare for all / single payer cannot work under a public option, because what happens is, if you're not forced to opt into the system, if everybody is not opt into the system, what happens is people decide not to pay, and they go with the insurance providers, and then it still sustains the insurance providers with power. It still gives them the power. It still gives them ability to negotiate. What Tulsi's saying is a single payer system with a private option, which is the plus part, where people can choose to keep their plan, but everybody pays into it. It is extra, and by doing so, she would be this kind of denouncing the power, kind of getting rid of the power of the insurance companies. This is what she has claimed. Again, I have to see her full plan, but to say that it doesn't count if it's not Medicare for all is actually disingenuous. You can look to every other major country on earth, and they all vary. Canada does it one way, Denmark does it another way, Australia does it another way. We have this idea that it has to say the name Medicare for all. I support Bernie Sanders, and I support his Medicare for all plan. However, I'm not going to say that you can't support single payer in another country, which might also work too. And I think there's people need to stop fighting about it, because it's literally just variances of pretty much a single payer system. And like Pasta said, we're all going to have to go through the process and see what they can actually get through. This is why we need to run people in Congress too, because it's not going to be enough. No. Okay. So the main
it's duplicative coverage. That is a concern.
No, it's
but that's
not.
what the Roadslav said.
It's not. It's not. Okay. So okay, by duplicate.
What is duplicative coverage?
So they're right in the sense that duplicative coverage is, for instance, under Bernie, the supplemental insurance is only, the private insurance only applies to supplemental things that aren't covered by Medicare for all. So like if for anything that's like cosmetic procedures and stuff like that.
I think they were talking about Tulsi.
Right, but I'm comparing it. So so that's Bernie Sanders. Tulsi's it would provide the ability for that if people are going to pay double. So that's the difference. So it's not just duplicative coverage like, oh, I'm not going to pay into the system, but I'm going to choose to pay into this other system. It's duplicative in the sense that they would be paying double.
Yeah.
So, but they're not opting out. Everybody pays in. And that is the entire difference between that plan and, say, Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg or Joe Biden's plan, which has come under, her plan has been compared to because she used the word. So now, again, I'm going to wait for the full analysis until her whole plan comes out, because I don't want to say things that maybe she's changing or that's not specific. But I am aware that I did ask the campaign. I said, what does this mean? Blah, blah, blah. And so because they clarified, because I was concerned when I heard the word choice, I'm like, oh, I didn't like that. And we discussed it here. I didn't like it at all. And I wasn't happy with it. And I said she shouldn't have used that word, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, if it's a single payer system, she can't be advocating for a Medicare for all if you want it. That's not what she's advocating for, because then it's not single payer. Yeah. It has to be a single payer system. And when she comes out with that plan, I want to read it and dissect it and then go over her plan, go over Warren's plan, go over Bernie's plan, go over the other plans, because a lot of things are being said that aren't actually correct. And we all have to make sure that we're not just going off our emotions off of one word and like saying, well, no, that's not it. If it's not this word exactly, then they're canceled. And a lot of people love these hot emotional takes. That is why a lot of these commentators have made their money off of having these emotional, ranty, hot takes. But with Medicare for all, with single payer health, people are dying. I don't want to be tricked. The majority of the public is responding because they don't want to be tricked, and they have been tricked with the ACA, with what Obama wanted, and with subsequently what's been happening. So I'm not trying to make any sort of excuses here for her, but if she's talking about that, if she's saying it's a single payer plan, and then everybody has to pay into it, there's like everybody pays through their taxes into it. Yeah. And then if people want to choose to keep their coverage, they can. But the way it's going to be done is that it's going to reduce entirely the power of these private insurance companies, make it so unlikely that you will want to have that double coverage. Okay. That's her.
I have a question there.
That's her plan.
Robert Lowe says Medicare for all will cover everything necessary. What would we need supplemental for? Cosmetic would be financed like right now.
Right. So under what she said is that she wants people to have the ability, if they have their job, a plan that they like, that their job is providing, to keep it. And a lot of other countries operate that way. I agree with you 100%. If Medicare for all is covering everything, why would you need to have another, to have some of these other companies provide it? Again, I don't know the specifics as to how she's going to do that, which is why I want to wait for her plan. My whole point is I want to wait to see the specifics of why she wants to do that. What is her reasoning? Because as from what I've seen, Tulsi hasn't taken the money. She's a logical person. She's a person that has been supportive and co-sponsored Jayapal's bill. She also agreed with Bernie Sanders' bill. Why would she not be for? Why would she be lying to you guys and saying she's for single payer? It just doesn't make sense to me. If it had been someone like Warren who's taking the money, someone like Kamala who's taking the money, and every other of these establishment people, I'd be like, oh, well, of course, like maybe they have a nefarious reason. But again, that's why I'm not saying that I'm not all saying I'm confirming everything. I'm simply saying I want to wait till her plan comes out, and then I want to dissect her plan and compare it to Bernie Sanders' plan, because to me, thus far, of the candidates running, he's the one that has the most comprehensive, specific healthcare plan, with also not just healthcare, but medical debt forgiveness, which is unprecedented. And that to me is a really huge deal as to why I support him. But I'm not going to go say I'm canceling her because she hasn't even had time to explain her plan.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm just reading the chat as you were going on and listening to you, and people were responding to you. And this is something it's going to have a lot more discussion, a lot more things to talk about when it comes to Medicare for all, single payer, where we're at, whatnot. I still go with that whole mentality that I know this is going to be a process. Even if it's Bernie gets in office, he's not going to just be able to necessarily enact single payer or Medicare for all. It is going to be a process. And I guess that's why I trust Tulsi so far, because I don't find her to be a liar. In fact, when I asked her a question and she didn't know the answer, she told me she didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, trust is a big thing, and she is signed on to Jayapal's plan, so I'm trusting that she's going to go in the right direction. And I'm looking forward to her new bill and stuff to come out and take a look at it. But people are going crazy about that stuff. They were